Okay, is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, we were looking at various characteristics of agile manufacturing, and we had covered till multi-level planning. Next comes small cross-functional teams. So, what are small cross-functional teams? So, you can see two figures here, and one is showing functional teams. So functional teams are nothing but teams which has a common function. So they will be doing common function. So if they are developers, they are creating something and they are developing something, and all of them do their duties according to developing itself. Next comes system analyst. So an analyst always looks for analysis methods, right? So they will maybe analyze the productivity or analyze the workflow or analyze the transportation, etc. So these are all jobs done by the analysts, and each and every analyst do the same kind of job. They are analyzing what are being done, and in the same case of testers, they are checking for the quality of the product, the defectiveness of the product. So these are all the jobs of testers. So every one of them are doing their job and what they are only supposed to do. That is called a functional team. And what is means of a cross functional team? In a cross functional team, we are merging the members inside the team, and they may have multiple functions. So they may include a developer, they may include a system analyst, and they may also include a tester. So that team is known as a cross functional team. There may be one or more. Okay, it depends according to the purpose for which the team is being formed, and that is why it is called a cross functional team. So for agile manufacturing, it is always nice to have a small cross functional team, because we are producing the product at a faster rate, right? So we don't have any time for research, or we can't divide them into different groups. For that, if such a thing happens, if you are dividing it into various groups as shown here in the functional groups, it will take some time for uh, transfer of the workflow, transfer of data from one department to other. There is obviously a time loss, and we can't afford a time loss such as that in the case of agile manufacturing. So for that function, we have to have a cross-functional team, and as small as possible, it is efficient, because a large team results in poor communication between the members of the team, so it will result in confusions. So a small cross-functional team is enough so as to reduce the effort done under each department, reduce the effort that comes when doing a process at the fastest possible way. So that will lead to complications and etc. So for that, small cross-functional teams are there, and it is not a single team, there are many number of teams. So it is said here, smaller agile development teams are proven to be more productive than larger teams, with the ideal range from around 5 to 10 people. So this is the maximum range of the cross-functional team. So such a small team is formed, and it is always shown to have more productivity when compared to other kinds of team. Then, if you have to scale a project up to more people, make every effort to keep individual teams as possible and coordinate efforts across the team. So, if you have more number of people, more than 10 number of people, we are keeping uh, always we require a small team, but we are keeping multiple teams. Okay, a formation of 10 team, then next formation of another team. All are cross-functional teams, but separate teams are formed so as to coordinate the efforts or to scale down the project. So the project may be a bigger project. If you are getting a bigger project, you can't do all the work by this cross-functional team itself. There also we are dividing the work and giving to these particular teams, but every individual in the team will have every knowledge of what is to be done. Okay, that is what is the advantage of a cross-functional team. So in the case of a functional team, the developers know what they only have to do. They don't have to know about what the tester do or what the system analyst do. But in the case of a cross-functional team, every individual is aware of the processes to be done, but the processes are done by the respective individual that do that process in the cross-functional team. So if there is a tester in the cross-functional team, the tester does the test, but everyone is aware of the processes that has to be carried out or the test that has to be carried out. Such is the function of the cross-functional team. Then teams work together to determine how best to take advantage of one another's skills and mentor each other. So that is what is being done in cross-functional team. So they are taking advantage of one another's skills. So already told you, there is developers, testers, and we are if there are developers and testers, system analysts take advantage of the knowledge of the developers and testers to do their analysis. That is what is meant by in that point. So they'll take advantage of another skills and mentor each other, either learn it or make them do the work. That is what is done under the cross-functional team. Then utilizing an agile approach will allow this work much more effectively and allow you to work more collaboratively. So making a team in such a manner is always effective for agile manufacturing only. So for the agile approach, this type of cross-functional team is highly effective, and this is known to increase productivity. So that was all the characteristics of agile manufacturing. Next, we will look at the advantages of using agile manufacturing. Okay, let's see, look at the advantages. First one is customer focused product design. So that is the basic function of agile manufacturing. We are always creating the product to please the customer, or to obtain the demand of the customer. So we are always producing a product, and the design is done on basis of the customer itself, because we have to keep the demand alive, and to keep the demand alive we have to always get the attention of the customer, and for that purpose we are designing the product, or the function of the product is made according to the customer only. So that is one of the advantages. So the customer is always satisfied, and the customer gets the product they request for. So that is one of the advantage of using agile manufacturing. Is connected IT. So they are always in an updated mode, right? In agile manufacturing, I have already told you the IT field plays in the agile manufacturing system. So IT field, always due to the information flow in the IT field, immediate action to implement the agile manufacturing or product process is done under this IT field due to the connected IT field, and due to that updation, easier data acquisition is being done, and easier or faster production processes are done to keep the demand alive. So for that purpose, I have already told you, when using the IT field, we are using certain software patches or etc. for automation technology. So first, always the production is being done by the automation technology, and that is why connected IT is one of the important advantage of agile manufacturing. Due to the updation of technology, each technology or each process or each data according to the customer request is being fed into the automated technology, and thereby increasing the productivity. That is how connected IT establishes agile manufacturing system into the customer demand. So that is one of the other advantages that is affecting agile manufacturing. Next comes cooperation with supply chain. So it is important to make sure that the information throughout the entire supply chain is connected so that the customer demands and expectations are shared with suppliers, retailers, and the production facility. So why do you have to share it with the suppliers, retailers, and the production facility? So if you don't share it like that, we will not. This is a basis of advertisement itself. So once you're sharing these things with the suppliers, retailers, and the production facility, somehow these reports on the production of that particular product will reach as an advertisement to the customer that is requiring that particular product. So what is the advantage there? We are keeping the competition alive. That is what is being done there. So once the advertisement reaches the customer knows the product that they require or the function of the product that they require is being satisfied by a company, and that company is particularly making that product which will be available to us in the earliest. So that is what a consumer looks for, right? So that information is being passed to the supplier, retailer, and the production facility. So indirectly the consumer knows such a product is being done, and for that purpose we will be keeping the demand alive. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, thereby we are keeping the demand alive by means of a small advertisement given to the consumer. This allows This will allow your entire supply chain to be able to align with the consumer demands and adjust your production plan and schedule to meet those demands. So once this is being done, we are setting certain rules or certain production schedules to keep the demand alive. So once this advertisement reaches the consumer, we will obtain the necessity or the functions or various objectives or what is the time schedule that is required for the product production or when the product has to reach the consumer. And for that purpose we are scheduling a production plan or we are scheduling the various processes that has to be done to meet those demands. Okay, that is being done under the cooperation within supply chain. That is the next advantage of agile manufacturing. Next are the disadvantages. So what are the disadvantages included in uh, what are the disadvantages of agile manufacturing? First one is, as stated earlier, short product life cycles. So that is one of the problems I have already mentioned earlier. So what was product life cycle? So product life cycle was earlier we are designing it and implementing it to the market, and after a particular stage of growth stage, then it becomes matured enough in the market and it is saturated with that product and people are often buying that product. And after that comes after the mature stage comes the decline stage, wherein the product is rapidly decreasing or its need is decreasing and replaced by other product, and finally it becomes obsolete. So that is the product life cycle and it takes a particular period, and we have studied that itself in the first module. So normally a product life cycle is large, or that gap or the time period is always a large gap, but in the case of agile manufacturing, always product life cycles is shorter. This is due to the this is due to the problem of updation of technology. So immediately, due to the customer demands that is occurring, or due to the updation of technology, they'll be creating a new product, or creating a even better product than the older one, and that is being done rapidly. So there is no particular time for a previous object to be saturated in the market. That product is immediately replaced by another product depending upon the demand of the customer. Okay, so that is what is happening under short product life cycles. So the life cycle, or the time that is required for the product to be saturated in the market, will be greater, and we are not giving sufficient time. Instead, we are producing another product that replaces the older product, and that older product is coming into a decline stage much earlier than the conventional method. So its product life cycle is being shortened. So this is why it has a shorter product life. And you can see here, while adjusting and improving products to meet customer demands can be an asset for the manufacturing facility, doing so may incur additional cost. So that is also another uh, disadvantages incurred during short product cycles. So we are adjusting and improving the products to meet customer demands, and obviously there is no standardized method or no production scale, or this is the first time we are going to create such a product. And obviously not because of the non-optimized schedule that is being set, there will be additional cost always incurring during that process. Then first, workers will require additional training to know how to adapt and be agile. So that is the one of the major challenges that occurs during agile manufacturing, because the workers has to know what all work has to be done, and how to adapt and be agile. So that is what is coming under short product life cycles. Next, in addition, changing the way products are made may require the facility to purchase new equipment, tools, or machinery. This also takes some time. So they have to buy new equipment, tools, or machinery to satisfy, or to obtain the agile manufacturing way of producing the product. Then these additional costs should be considered when looking to implement agile strategies into the facility. So we will be always considering the additional cost that will be incurring. So basis is only this. When introducing agile manufacturing, additional cost will be there. It will take some time for the workers to obtain that knowledge. So for that purpose, automation is the best method to first implement agile manufacturing and shorter product life cycles. So these all comes under the second disadvantage, sorry, the first disadvantage. The other one is production process design. Next one is the process design. So what is the problem with the process design? The process design is always being changed. Okay, due to the shorter product life cycles, another product is being implemented, and once implemented, the product has a different production cycle, or the production cycle changes slightly. Even a slight change will determine the various cost that is incurred. Okay, there may be sufficient time may be required for doing that process, or various delays are being occurred, and these are all a common factors that occurs in agile manufacturing. Okay, so when you are doing when you require the work to be done fast, we had to compromise for all these additional costs and times that are required. Okay, um, so the production process design has will be changed, and that is the disadvantage that is occurring here. So we are losing some time, or the workflow is not as continuous as possible. So we will take sufficient time to implement a natural workflow process, and the time for training an individual into the agile system will take some time, and that is also another disadvantage. So these all production process design. Okay, next, plan management is challenging. That is the next disadvantage. So where in conventional method, always we have looked at the conventional traditional manufacturing method with lean manufacturing method. We have always seen that in traditional manufacturing system, always the management takes the plan. Okay, the management was, but here in agile manufacturing and lean manufacturing, we always know that each and every worker is being given that power to make sufficient decisions. Okay, but here in agile manufacturing, that management also is being hard. It is being done hard because of this faster ways of doing the manufacturing, or doing the processes involved in manufacturing. Hence, planning it and managing it is very hard. So we can't use forecasting system inside agile manufacturing, because it is an improved of lean manufacturing, and everything is done on basis of customer demand itself. So a forecasting method was used in traditional manufacturing, the push system we have earlier discussed, and using that forecast system always ends up in overproduction or surplus inventory inventory in the manufacturing system, and such a system is not implemented in agile manufacturing, so we can't know how much production has to be done. So how we can plan, or how much production products has to be formed in one day, this all we can't plan. So very vague factors are present in agile manufacturing. So planning is very challenging, and also managing it in the same sense of workforce management, productivity management, inventory management, all these management that are not by the manager of the manufacturing system, an individual, maybe for each and every one, the management is very challenging. So that is also another disadvantage of agile manufacturing. Next, we will look at approaches to productivity in AM. So how to increase productivity in AM. So this the 6 ways: review your existing workflow, update processes and technology, commit to schedule maintenance, train and educate employees, organize the workspace, maintain optimal inventory. So these are the 6 approaches to increase productivity in AM. So first one is review your existing workflow. So workflow are done in 3 ways. So in 3 categories. First one is people, next is processes, next is technology and equipment. So in under people, you are checking for on track. Our objectives clearly defined and realistic and safe. So these all comes under the people section of the workflow. So we are looking for right skills, looking for manager, and we are looking for the objectives being clearly defined. This all comes under reviewing the workflow. So if you have the right skilled people at the right place, you obviously will get more productivity. If you have a project manager, he will supervise these people for doing the work, so that is also increasing productivity. Then when clearly defining the objectives, we can know how much product has to be manufactured, or how much has to be stored in the inventory, and how much has to be transported. This all will be known only if you are clearly identifying the or defining the objectives. So that is why it is essential to review the existing workflow. Next, under processes, it comes as, when was the last time you mapped your processes? Have you used value stream mapping to assess process improvement projects? And what are the pain points and bottlenecks? Okay, bottlenecks are nothing but the choking of production, or the reasons for reduce the reduction in productivity. These are some of the bottlenecks that you find in the table, or when you are drawing a graph of the productivity, you will observe a bottleneck, and that is because of the decline in the production process. So these are all obtained by plotting the points under production. So they are looking, reviewing whether these processes are being done. And finally, when looking at equipment and technology, is all your equipment in good repair? Is the technology you rely on optimal for current needs? And how easy is it to make changes in production? So this also comes under equipment and technology. So these all comes under reviewing your existing workflow. Next comes update processes and technology. So that always comes under, we are looking at the new technologies that is around into the industry field or under the market, or various sessions the technology updation may be done, and we are implementing the technology into the agile manufacturing. And once implemented, we are updating the process in the sense we have to reduce delays or wastage of time, and we have to improve the value of the product. And these all are done keeping lean manufacturing in mind. So we are updating the process on basis of the technology, and uh, changing it on basis of optimized production schedule. So that's what is coming under the process and technology. Then coming scheduled maintenance. So scheduled maintenance is nothing. Um, we, we are standardizing the procedure after reviewing our workflow, and after standardizing it, we are keeping a scheduled maintenance portion in that workflow. So scheduled maintenance comes under preventive maintenance for all the equipments that is being used. So once you are implementing that preventive maintenance, then we will not incur any stoppage or delay in production cycle, and thereby we will be obtaining a lean manufacturing system by implementing the agile manufacturing system. Next is train and educate employees. So we have to train and educate the employees for uh, for updating under agile manufacturing system. So uh, the agile manufacturing system is first applicable on technologies so as to easily produce the product and keep the competition alive. And it takes sufficient time to educate the employees for that processes that is required to complete that agile manufactured product. And for that purpose, we are always to keep that in track, we are training and educating the employees with the scheduled with the workflow that is being designed under the first point that I have already told. And after training them, we are implementing these employees into the manufacturing system for faster production of that product for that short period of time. So after that short period, obviously another product may replace it, or another future design may replace it, and for that purpose again the training session has to be done. So training and educating the employees is another way to improve productivity in agile manufacturing system. And next one is organize the workspace. So organize the workspace, we already know what is organizing. It comes under the 5S system, and short, standardize, and all, it all comes under the 5S. And implementation of the 5S system always improves agile manufacturing, and that one of the uh, methods in 5S system was organizing or sorting of the workspace, and this always ensures the faster working process or faster agile manufacturing process. So that's
Sir,
uh,
sir,
yes.
സർ റോൾ നമ്പർ 3 ഇപ്പൊ ഫോണിലെ ചാർജ് പോകും.
Okay. Last one, maintain optimal inventory. So to maintain optimal inventory is always have some inventory in the inventory of the company, so as to keep the competition alive. So sometimes you will not have any production processes during the time of training the individuals. So it is always done by an automated technology, and an automated technology will produce sufficient products, but the cost incurred during an automation technology is much higher. So we always require human labor, and once the training of the human labor is done, then the productivity is shifted to the human labor or the natural manufacturing method. So once it is during that shift, there will be a slight delay in the production process as to the productivity of the product that is being produced. So some small inventory will be always maintained in the inventory of the companies, so as to keep productivity of the human labor. It's a function of maintaining optimal inventory, and once it is maintained, it always increase productivity, or it will always keep the demand alive for that company. So that is the various approaches to improve the productivity in AM. And with that, we'll be concluding today's session.